Welcome to another edition of Comet Algebra. This video is for Algebra 1, Chapter 1, Section 4, Subtracting Rational Numbers. The book gives us the definition saying that subtracting is the same thing as adding the opposite. So what they're saying is that 10 minus 7 is the same thing as saying 10 plus a negative 7. And that is very true and it's fine. This is my definition or way of looking at negative signs. A subtract sign is the same as a negative sign, and it always has been. In my example up here, this 10 is positive, and because there's a subtract sign in front of the 7, it is a negative 7. This 7 owns the sign that's in front of it. So adding the opposite or thinking of a subtract sign as a negative sign, both the same thing. All right, this first example we're looking at, it gives us what I call a double negative. Now, we do not speak in double negatives because they give us the positive. For example, either you have a piece of candy or you do not have a piece of candy. One of these has to be true. So if I told you it is not the case that you do not have candy, that means you have candy. Enjoy that. Sounds good. So what we learned from this is that a double negative gives us a positive. So when you see these two negative signs, we can just write over the top of them plus, and 4 minus a minus 2 becomes 4 plus 2, which is 6. Okay, going back to when I said that the number owns the sign in front of it. This 3 owns the negative sign. This 2 owns its negative sign. So this, you can think of it as negative 3, and you're adding a negative 2. Or the silly analogy, 3 bad guys and 2 more bad guys is 5 bad guys. So negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. Here the 2 is positive, the 5 is negative. So this is a positive 2 plus a negative 5. That's like having $2 and spending 5. You are now $3 in the hole. Just a few more examples for us to look at. Here if we have 5 minus 8. Remember, the number owns the sign that's in front of it. So this is a positive 5 and a negative 8. 5 good guys run up against 8 bad guys. 5 bad guys kill off 5 good guys and vice versa. So there's only 3 bad guys left standing. 7 minus a negative 2.1. The double negative becomes positive, and that becomes 9.1. All right, number 3 is kind of nice because we check and we notice right away that we already have common denominators, so yay, we don't have to do that. The double negative becomes a positive, and so I need to take a negative 27 and add an 18. And when I do that, I get, if I do that right, a negative 9 over 26. And checking to see if that reduces, I'm not seeing a common factor. All right, in example number 4, we need to find a common denominator with 5 and 9. And if there isn't one, I'm thinking 5, 10, 15, 20. One that you can always use is 5 times 9. You can always multiply your two denominators if you remember that trick from whatever grade that was where you learned this. So I'm going to take care of this double negative right away. So we have a positive, and the new denominator is 45. This first fraction, I'm multiplying top and bottom by 9 because 9 times 5 is 45. So 9 times 6 is 54. The second fraction, I'm multiplying top and bottom times 5. 9 times 5 is 45. 2 times 5 is 10. So now we go ahead and add those, and we get 64 over 45, which does not reduce, has nothing in common, no common factors. But you'll notice it is improper, and I'm going to leave it that way because in algebra we work with fractions. We do reduce them into their lowest terms, but when they're full of x's and y's, we don't try to make mixed numbers out of them. We just leave them improper. All right, I think that's everything. So now you have the knowledge you need to work on section 1.4. Have fun with that.